So we've seen three types of CRUDs: script executors, data statements, and instantiators. In this lesson, we'll see the remaining three types. Um, so the remaining three types are email senders for sending email, HTTP connectors for connecting to external HTTP services, and um, and file uploaders for uploading files uh, to your applications. So let's take a quick look at an email sender. Again, it follows the same basic CRUD pattern, um, and the email sender actually uses the parameters as its properties. So instead of having a different way of configuring them, you just specify the properties as parameters. Whenever you create a new email sender, all these properties are automatically filled in for you, and then you just have to provide values for them. Um, so you're looking at an example here. This is actually used on our website to send emails. Um, so I'm gonna have to change the password because I think you guys have already seen. That's the live password for the Coursera website. If you have to send customer inquiry, no, actually when you buy a license, the confirmation email that you get is sent using this email sender. So I have to change that password. Don't bother copying it to hack into our system. Okay, so there are a bunch of properties associated with this. Please look at the documentation. It's fairly straightforward to use. Again, you send emails without having to write any code. And what's even cool about sending emails in this environment is that in the past, when I've had to send email, I had to configure them in like save my text files, my email text in separate configurations. Here you can actually just use a script executor. Here's an example of a script executor that again, it's another Velocity template, and this is your email. So you can create nice email templates in here and send it. It's easy to do. You don't have to fiddle around with other configuration settings just to send email. It's all part of the Coursera platform principle of making things as simple as they need to be and no simpler. Again, do not try to steal that password. I'm going to change it. Thank you. So the next one that I will show you is the HTTP connector. HTTP connectors, as the name suggests, is a way to connect to external HTTP services. So this again is actually for the Coursera website. We use Stripe for payment processing, and you're looking at the HTTP connector that we use to do that. No additional code. Just specify the URL of the Stripe service that you wish to invoke. Provide the password. In this case, I've hidden. You're looking at dev password. You can mess around with that if you want, but I've hidden the production password so you don't steal it. Again, it has a bunch of configurations associated with it. We just call Stripe and provide whatever information we need to provide to them. Here it says call parameters. This allows you to specify an instantiator that actually serves as your parameters that you send to Stripe. So if you open up the Stripe charge parameters, you will see values that are, if you're familiar with Stripe's service, it asks you to supply the amount, the currency, the card information, and the description. This is what we send to Stripe so that we can charge our customers who buy a license. So again, that's our HTTP connector. Again, another example of using CRUDs without having to write any code. Straightforward. It reduces errors. Stuff that would ordinarily take you at least hours to do, you can do here in a few clicks and move on to more interesting things. So the last thing that I'm going to show you is the file uploader, which is another CRUD type for uploading files. This one, the example that I'm going to show you is what's being used in this product itself, right? So if you go to the app asset tab, let's say you want to add a new file. Let's say you want to add a zip file. You right click on the folder where you want to add it and you say add. Well, behind the scenes, this is a CRUD that gets invoked. If you look at the JavaScript code for this, you'll see that this CRUD add file is actually being invoked in the JavaScript call that is made. Again, it has properties. It tells you which destination directory to drop the files in. If you use just the dot, it will say the working directory. That is the directory where the CRUD is actually based. It will just dump it in there. So those are the three remaining CRUD types. Together with the previous three, they're about a total of six. Um, and they solve a whole host of back-end programming problems, requiring you to do very little coding if you have to at all. The productivity boost that you can expect from this, I think, is really massive, and you're going to enjoy using this. Again, look at the documentation for detail. There are a lot of options associated with each and every one of these. Just